733 pull-ups in 1 hour. World record alert. Meet Jade Henderson, a 32-year-old police officer who just redefined human endurance, completing 733 pull-ups in 1 hour, breaking the previous world record of 725.
Good job, bro. Good job, man. He or she? Is that a man or a woman? She? Funny. Is that a female or a female? She or trans he? Is that really a woman?
She was born a man. Oh, God, it's exhausting, isn't it? Conservatives will be like, we only want cisgender women in sports. No trans women in my women's sports. And then the second you have a cisgender woman break a world record or, perform well in sports, suddenly it's all, I don't actually believe that she's a woman. Because, let's be honest, for transvestigators, it's never about, actually having women being safe or actually having cisgender women compete in sports or actually having any of the things that they claim. It's just about oppressing other people. It's just about oppressing trans people, oppressing women, and defining people based on a very narrow view of what exactly people are. Jade Henderson is a cisgender woman. She is not trans. She broke the women's pull-up record in an hour. She is not trans. Transvestigators have decided that she is trans because they don't actually care. They'll go after anyone. This video brought to you by my YouTube members and patrons. Thank you guys. How's it going, everybody, and welcome back to another subreddit video. Today we are going to be returning to r/TheyCanAlwaysTell, the subreddit that, spoiler alert, is dedicated to people not always telling. Not nearly enough posts get posted in this subreddit. I would absolutely look at this more often. I literally cannot look at this subreddit more than once every 2 to 3 months at most, because that's how many posts get posted. All of the posts in this video is all of the posts since the last video I did on the subreddit. So if you want to see more posts like this, if you want to see more videos on this subreddit, post in the subreddit, join it, get more people on that subreddit. Very quickly before we begin, I just wanted to mention that YouTube members and patrons, you guys get an extra video every single week for as low as £1 a month. That equates to about 25p per video. So if that is something that interests you, please do consider joining, as it really helps support the channel. Right, let's get into the subreddit, shall we? We are remembering Celia Cruz today on what would have been her 100th birthday.
Is this one of those drag queen shows?
That's a dude.
I don't know who he is.
Trans.
What in the they, them? That's a dude.
Was she the first transsexual woman? Who the hell is this man lady? I've never heard of this person, so it did a trans? I'm JW because it looks like a man but is dressed like a woman. I'm genuinely curious because for Olik, I can't be bothered to read out the abbreviations, may actually just be a woman who looks like a man.
What was this trans dude famous for? Makeup or some shit?
So, cisgender woman, again, obviously, this is the subreddit for people mistaking people, but it is amazing how the They Can Always Tell crowd? Wow. It is amazing how the They Can Always Tell crowd will turn on anybody. They claim to be transvestigators or anti-trans, or they say a lot of transphobic shit, but then they will just say the exact same things to cis people because they aren't actually aware of who is trans and who is cis. They'll claim that they know, they'll claim that it's obvious, and then they'll turn on a cisgender woman because she's not their idea of what is conventionally attractive, which is often rooted in very misogynistic and often very racist ideals. It's very often grounded in this very specific genre of what is considered for white people to be attractive, and that is a huge basis for transphobia and for transvestigism. It's a massive problem, and there's a reason that the term TERF exists, because if you claim to be a feminist and then attack who you think are trans people and who are often not even trans people, you can't claim to be a feminist or to be pro women's rights or to be protecting women because you're attacking women. You're attacking both trans and cisgender women. So regardless of whether you even view trans women as women, which they very much are, they're still attacking cisgender women anyway. So they're not protecting anybody when they themselves are the problem, you know?
Beautiful women are in ads again. Wokeness is so over.
Well, first thing to note, correct. This is a very beautiful woman in an ad. That is absolutely correct. The second thing to note is that the ad in question here, that's Hunter Schafer. Hunter Schafer is a trans woman. For those of you that don't know, at this point, if you've been watching the channel for a little while, I don't know how you wouldn't know that. My voice cracked pretty hard when I said at this point, but that's Hunter Schafer, a trans woman who models and acts. But they're not wrong. Beautiful woman in an ad. They're not wrong, but not the way they thought. Transphobes are attacking this young trans author, saying you'll never be a woman because she doesn't adhere to their oppressive aesthetic standards. Too bad, TERFs. Trans women are women, with a picture of J.K. Rowling.
He has a dick. He's a man. As simple as that. Biology, baby. Can't deny it.
There's a picture of J.K. Rowling. But if you say so, Spence sees it. What do you see exactly, Spence? Because it doesn't appear to be what you think it be. Transvestigators have reverse transvestigated Dylan Mulvaney to conclude she must have been born a woman, forcibly transitioned to male as a kid, and then transitioned into female in adulthood.
I see soft clavicles despite the crazy low body fat and female neck on this probably double flipper. Brow ridge and 5 o'clock shadow are easily added via surgery and hormones. Energy from eyes screams female as well. Thoughts? Possibly female, male, female. There are other body markers to look at as well. Shoulder to hip ratio, leg and arm length, the way their stride and strut presents itself. Sometimes it's very hard because some children are being transitioned before they hit puberty. Yeah, that is my theory, that she was denied puberty but kept the hips narrow and the hormones possibly helped. I can't... I can't comprehend having to live in this conspiracy world where it's no longer enough to just be claiming that like every celebrity has been transitioned. It's no longer enough for their conspiracy to believe that. Now they have to believe that celebrities are being forcibly transitioned and then are transitioning back. We no longer have an entire roster of every celebrity being trans. Now they're trans and reverse trans. They've transitioned twice. I just, you know, there's the term Occam's razor, which basically refers to the most logical and the simplest answer usually being the correct one. And the most logical and easiest answer isn't that someone was secretly transitioned against their will as a child and as an adult has transitioned back, and that this is a common thing happening in the media. The simplest answer is that the person that says they are a trans woman is a trans woman. So this next one was a post that I posted to the subreddit myself because I did a short talking about transvestigators a little while back and got a comment on it where someone was like, seeing celebrities for what they are, gender inverted, is a mental illness. Got it.
And like, yeah. So in the short, I basically said that transvestigating is a mental illness. They're so obsessed with trans people that they see trans people everywhere, including where they are not. And this comment just doubled down and was like, yeah, I'm not mentally ill for seeing trans people where they're not. I'm the one that sees the truth. Yeah, buddy, sure. Also in the post, I got recognized by a couple people. So shout out to Miss Shadow Wings and to Mead from Hell for being people that recognized me in public. Well, I say in public. Does it count? It's a public website. Either way, shout out to you guys. You're the best. I appreciate you recognizing me. I do occasionally get recognized on specific subreddits, and I always appreciate it, so... Erica Kirk, widow of Charlie Kirk, named new CEO of Turning Point USA. Great.
Erica Kirk is trans. It's not a woman, that is. Erica Kirk is inverted, EGI,
I can't read.
A biological male. Erica Kirk has a strong jawline for a woman. She's a woman on the path to transitioning. No way you're going to convince me a jawline like that doesn't belong to a man. Not to mention ladies usually wear shoulder pads to get broad shoulders.
So yeah, they're transvestigating Charlie Kirk's wife. not even the wife of Charlie Kirk, famous transphobe who referred to trans people as abominations, not even his wife is safe from transvestigators. An alt-right talking head who was assassinated for being alt-right, not even his wife is safe from being transvestigated. I feel like that just tells you absolutely everything about the mentality of these people, about how they will see trans people literally everywhere. Because if you think that Charlie Kirk would have married a trans person, you are so delusional. You are immensely delusional. That dude was a hateful bigot.
Hating your own race? You must live a terrible life. It doesn't matter who comes for them, because they won't. No bulls too, from you or the government. How does it feel that the party you worship is falling apart? The party that wants to put grown men in the bathroom with children. The party who wants open borders. The party who wants men to have vaginas and women to have dicks. You feel good about that?
Sorry, I stopped reading after your first sentence. Do you think I'm white?
Of course, a typical left-wing liberal woman would say that.
Well, they acknowledge that she's a woman, but it's a bit of a twofer because they don't recognize that she's trans after posting something pretty transphobic, and they also don't recognize that she's not white and refer to her as white again. So, also, I gotta ask, it's obvious that, you know, these kinds of people live in a different world to the rest of us, right? That doesn't surprise anyone at this point. It seems pretty obvious, but do they think there are separate bathrooms for children and adults? Like, unless you have a specific designated child's bathroom, yes, grown adults and children use the same bathrooms. That's how bathrooms work. Like, I'm sure if you have, you know, dedicated singular room bathrooms instead of, you know, rows of cubicles and urinals and whatever, then they're not going to use them at the same time. But when you have a public bathroom made up of stalls and toilets and urinals, yes, adults and children will use those bathrooms at the same time because that's how public bathrooms work. What world are we living in here where adults and children don't use the same places to
You will never be a woman.
A good thing I'm a cisgender man then.
And that's all you'll ever be.
That last person really thought they were being like badass. You know, they were like, yeah, that's all you'll ever be. It's like that's what they are. That is what they'll be. But also, it's not all he'll ever be because he's also a human being with other things going on in his life. His life isn't just being cisgender, being trans, or being anything like that. People are just human beings. So these last two posts, I actually left to the end because I can't remember if I have covered these before. I don't think I have, and I couldn't find them in the last video I did on the subreddit, but I recognize the posts, and I don't know if it's just that I've looked at the subreddit between the last video and saw this and the next post, or if I covered them before, so I've left them to the end for that reason. I don't think I've covered them. I can't find any evidence that I have, but I recognize them. Either way, missing the game because I'm working so hard to make sure I look good at least. Hey man, you're never going to be a woman. This dude just saw an attractive woman and just immediately assumed that she's trans. I don't know what that says about him, but that's a cisgender woman. And he just immediately saw her and went, must be trans. Ain't no way that attractive women could be cisgender. I don't know what that says about this guy, but you know, it is what it is. You're confusing sex for gender. I don't know or care what's in her pants.
Oh, you're so touchy because your partner is a male pretending to be a woman.
My partner's a female. That's her sex. The biology. She's also a woman. That's her gender. The social construct around that biology.
No, he's not. He might have had a nip and tuck, but he's a dude.
Once again, I don't know how you could be explicitly told that someone was both born as and identifies as a woman. Biologically and by gender, they both are physically and identifying as a woman, right? And this guy's like, no, I have decided that your wife is a man. Beyond that, beyond the blatant stupidity that is, the nonsense that is, and how little that makes sense. In what world, in what singular way would the gender or sex of this person's partner have affected this random dude on the internet in any way? In any single possible way? It doesn't. He's just gone online, has claimed some random person on the internet's wife is trans for seemingly no reason, with seemingly no evidence, is told the contrary, and has doubled down for no reason. I don't understand. I think this is the thing with transvestigators, right? The thing that I don't understand is why. Is what difference it makes in your life. You know, let's pretend for a second that the ludicrous notion that every celebrity is actually trans is actually true and the transvestigators were right. What does it change? What does it matter? It shows that trans people are all very attractive to be the front of all media. It shows that they're very athletic to be the front of all sports. All I see is a conspiracy theory that makes trans people not only seem way more common than they are, but to seem way more talented, right? This idea basically conveys that no cisgender people are talented enough to compete with trans people. That's what this conspiracy theory suggests. And I don't get the vibe that that's exactly what they're trying to convey, but it is what they're conveying with that conspiracy theory. But obviously, it's complete nonsense, right? It's complete nonsense. There are absolutely trans celebrities, and usually they're quite public about being trans. Not always, and that's fine. They don't have to be. It's none of our fucking business. But like, it's not some conspiracy theory where every single celebrity is secretly trans. Complete nonsense. But that is where I'm going to end the video. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed. If you would like to support me in making more content like this, then I have a Patreon in the description down below, or equally you can click on that join button on the channel to support me. It helps a lot more than you might realize, but by no means should you feel like you have to. I'm going to keep making content regardless. But a huge, massive special thank you to all of the wonderful YouTube members and patrons that do support me. All of your names are up on screen right now, and it genuinely helps so much, and it genuinely means so much. So thank you to everybody that does. Other than that, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed, and as always, I will see you in the next video. Peace out.